So, we ready to get into the meat?
And we should probably issue a blanket apology before this one too.
Yeah, this is a bit of a bummer conversation as well. Um, we because there's not a lot of gig stuff to talk about, we do kind of just start digging into the cultural stuff around being a musician and the news and stuff. So on one hand, that means we get to talk about cool things like Fender having their greatest sales year
Yeah.
ever due to a pandemic, and those are good things. And I think Fender has been really good about um, kind of spreading the goodwill and being good ambassadors to like the music
Yeah.
population. And to be fair, I would say Gibson with their Gibson TV content um, has been really awesome, like really kind of like speaking to the community writ large. I just watched the episode of the collection that they did where Mark Agnesi went to Joe Bonamassa's condo in Nashville and just looked through like his Nashville collection of things. It's just ridiculous. Just the coolest stuff you've ever seen and like the rarest things of all time. And these are just like, yeah, and he lives like right in the gulch. Like it's just, he's right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And you'd walk right by him, you'd never even know.
Right.
It's crazy.
Very cool.
But that's not what we're talking about this week.
Not tonight.
So, a couple months ago, I did a video on the YouTube channel about toxic music culture and just kind of like the call outness of guitar players in general. Like it's guitar, the guitar community is its own bubble.
You know the guitar player's handshake, right? Guitar player's handshake. I'm better than you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
So there's a part of it that there's some positivity behind it. I feel like there's a population that is willing to lift up other musicians and kind of give them the credit that they deserve and the glad handing and the congratulatory things. But there's also this really cruddy, toxic subset of that population that just wants to, for lack of a better term, just shit on everything.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that one has reared its head a bit more in this season. And, we as a podcast don't really deal with a lot of negativity that, that changed this past week with somebody in the group who just decided that they didn't like how a conversation went. And I tried to, change the tone and they just weren't having it. I had to let them go.
And was that this first I've seen of us having to do that in the Facebook group?
I have had to do it maybe once or twice before
Yeah.
in the 2 to 3 years that we've done that. This person had not been a contributor. He had posted maybe a handful of comments total.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't like a regular contributor. And the cool thing about the Facebook thing is I know who the regular contributors are.
Right.
I've got a top 10.
Yeah.
And those guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
Encouraging people. They provide good information. They share a lot of they share their stuff. And a lot of them also are Patreon supporters.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
they're our bread and butter. We appreciate them a whole lot.
Totally.
But the whole part of that we've got to figure out, as a community is that, we need to make sure that it's a place where you can get good feedback. And if you aren't willing to provide that, then like it's probably not the place for you.
Yeah.
What I had said in that moment was there are plenty of other places to be crappy on the internet. This just isn't one of them.
Right. And to be real clear, we moderate that Facebook group hard.
Yeah.
We do. I replied in that thread, this ain't a democracy and you have no rights. And it was like, haha, only serious.
Yeah.
We moderate hard. And that's to keep it a place where it is valuable and positive and contributes to people's efforts rather than just being, well, I have the right to just spout whatever nonsense I feel at the moment.
Well, and he kind of did the whole like middle fingers up as he, was
It was not graceful. His exit was not graceful. Yeah.
And his whole thing was, well, the only reason why people are here is because, it's free. And that's true. We have roughly 1,000 members and they, we're not precious with our information. That's like the whole point is to share it.
Yep.
And just because something isn't, just because you don't pay for something doesn't mean it's not valuable and it's not good. but with the fact that there is no barrier of entry other than some very basic questions, you're gonna have to deal with the riffraff, I guess you could say. And he went so far as to say, "Oh, I never even come here," and then he managed to go onto my personal page and be crappy there too. So,
yeah,
for a person, yeah.
yeah.
And this the conversation that I wanted to have tonight wasn't about me, and it wasn't about this particular situation. It's a couple of other things that I noticed, but it all kind of came up all at the same time.
Well, and it's coming up across the world. It's coming up. Well, I don't know across the world. It's coming up across America for sure. We are in election season, and it's a very, very weird election season. And
yeah,
I think people are more ready to be nasty with each other than I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
and it's particularly troubling in this community that's supposed to be about creativity and joy.
Yeah. When I think, the unfortunate part is that because a lot of us don't have the outlet that we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
So that builds some frustration, and that might be kind of part and parcel with the way that people are kind of acting out.
Yeah.
The thing that really stood out to me this week that I wanted to kind of get into is something that came across that I thought was really, really cool. And then watching a community completely ruin it, I guess, for lack of a better term. So for those of you who follow guitar news, Fender released a really cool signature model this week from an R&B artist named H.E.R. It's H.E.R. She's an R&B singer and a guitar player, and they released this gorgeous iridescent white Strat,
so pretty,
with a matching headstock. It's gorgeous, and it's not one of those Squire level ones. It's a $1,200 signature. It's a legit instrument, and it's the first signature model for a Black female guitarist that's ever been made.
Yeah.
So it's historical in that sense. Also kind of crazy that, we're in the 21st century. This is the first time that's happened. There have been plenty of other, well accomplished female guitar players and female Black guitar players for that matter. The fact that Gibson never released the Sister Rosetta Tharpe signature SG custom.
God, that would have sold like crazy, wouldn't it?
They could do it right now.
They could do it right now. Crazy. Yeah, totally.
And I thought it was really cool. I shared a link to it because I just thought it was a gorgeous guitar. I mean, those of you who follow me, I like white guitars. It's like my thing. I really dig them. And so I was really into it. And I made a critical error in that I saw it on Music Radar, which is typically where I go for music news, but also Guitar World posted it on Facebook. And I went in to read the comments for the Guitar World post on Facebook, and man, really regret doing that because I saw just a bunch of just terrible comments about this really great instrument and this really cool moment. And it just really bummed me out. And it made me really, really upset. I was compelled to actually comment on how disappointed I was.
Did that make a difference in the
it caused its own pile up on top of that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So, the thing that really just kind of rubs me the wrong way in this whole thing is that I don't think there's any mystery to the fact that the guitar community as a whole is predominantly older and white and male.
Yeah.
And as two older white males,
No, yeah, we're guilty as charged.
We're kind of on brand.
Yeah.
And what I typically see with a lot of these things, and it happens with all guitar news, is that if it's not for them, they don't like it. And I think that's the problem. Because not everything can be for old white men.
Well, yeah. And I'm not saying old white men aren't a particular problem with this. But, I think I see that with guitars that are, it's pretty, but I can't gent it.
Right.
Anything that's my keyhole that I look at music through, is
Mm-hmm.
anything outside that is just not. Guitar players are startlingly conservative
Yeah.
in terms of what they like and what they're willing to accept. I mean, look at the fact that there are like 6 guitar shapes that are possible.
Yeah.
Basses can look like anything, but guitars, pretty much, it's a Strat or a Les Paul or a there are some shapes that are allowed in
Yep.
guitars, and nothing else is, unless you're St. Vincent, and then that's different.
Right.
Um,
But even that, like, there's a lot of blowback for that model,
Totally.
even though that model is freaking
killer
awesome.
guitar, killer.
It's the coolest shape. It's totally original.
Yeah.
It looks and sounds great.
Yeah.
Like, I would love a
Yeah, and
Saint
she's an original, and I mean, same with her. Like, just like a really very like amazing artist.
Vincent. Mhm.
And this guitar that's this monster, and but it's seen as like a chick guitar or something, and the H.E.R. one
Right.
has colored fret markers, so it's for obviously for babies, and it's like this unwillingness to look outside my preordained expert, the decision I made when I was 8 about what a guitar is supposed to look like.
Right.
I don't know, it's just it's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, in like, to your point, you're totally like, well, I can't gent with this, but like, there's that whole other side where it's like you have something that's fanned frets, or a longer scale length, or it's 8 strings,
How dare
or
you?
9
How
strings.
dare
How
you?
dare you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all have this like wheelhouse that we're in. Like, okay, I'm in my white guitar 6-string wheelhouse. That's what I like.
Yeah.
But if you like something else, like,
That's
I don't
7 strings. What are you, a
typically-
harp player?
right?
Come on.
Like, a part of me would give it a shot. Try something. Try something new.
Yeah, why not? I'm real interested in a baritone guitar.
I think baritone would be like the gateway drug for me. I would
I'm
really
sure.
like a baritone as well.
Yeah.
If you like, my favorite thing to do on a baritone is just to play a C chord, because it sounds so crazy. Like, you just play like a C form and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we as a community just kind of in general suck when things are different
Yeah.
than our preferences.
Yeah.
And it's the whole argument with like rock is dead, or guitar music is dead, or pop music is crap. Like, it's the same arguments told by the same people for like the same reasons.
Yeah.
It's not for me, ergo it's not good.
Yeah. And I'm right, and everything else is wrong.
Exactly.
And it's more important that I be right than that I explore something.
Right. I would say a great example of that is Greta Van Fleet. So like, they are a group of young guys in their early 20s that are aping Led Zeppelin real hard.
Yeah.
Like, real hard.
Yeah.
And there's a subset of the community that's like, rock and roll is back, man. They're doing it,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another group that's like, no, like, this isn't pushing music forward in a constructive way.
Yeah.
It's just kind of ham-handed and whatever. And I feel like there are great examples of modern rock bands that are, in my opinion, pushing the genre forward. My personal opinion is that Greta Van Fleet is not one of them, but I don't particularly care if people like them or listen to them.
Yeah.
I'm just fine with things not being for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we as people and we as a community need to just get on board with the fact that not everything's for you.
Not everything's for you. That's really, you know what? They sell keyboards too. How about that? Are those for you? Yeah. They sell trumpets.
Yeah. The other example I saw that was getting a lot of crap was Billie Eilish. Fender released a Billie Eilish signature ukulele.
I didn't see that.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's fine.
Yeah.
If she wants to, and they're like, oh, she's not a great ukulele player. It's like, why would Fender go to the trouble of making a signature guitar for an artist that no one knows?
Right.
That makes no sense.
Right.
People need to understand that if a company is coming out with a signature model, it's because they looked at the artist, they looked at their prospective fan base, and they looked at their prospective fan base's discretionary income, and they go, can we make money doing this?
It's not about
That's it.
It's not about endorsing or kind of about endorsing. It's not a, I don't know, it's a branding move, it's a sales move. It's that it's not even as official as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No. But people are like, what, oh, she's got a signature, a signature instrument. Like, what has she ever done? Was like, well, she sold more records than you ever will.
Yeah.
And the thing that people need to just get over is the fact that like, it's a hard truth. And I don't necessarily, it's not, I don't know if business isn't fair, but like Fender's going to make more money selling Billie Eilish ukuleles than Ibanez ever made selling Tosin Abasi's signature guitars.
No question. And by the way, some people are going to get into ukulele thanks to the Billie Eilish ukulele and become musicians. And that nobody can see as a bad thing. So,
and no disrespect to Tosin Abasi, but like nobody looks at or listens to Tosin Abasi or Animals as Leaders and goes, I want to pick up guitar.
that's right.
Every time I listen to that stuff, I go, I quit.
Yeah.
Like, it's over,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Game over.
I will never. Yeah, I will never be that good.
Yeah.
Well,
no. But maybe if you buy that guitar, maybe.
Jeff Roggendorf, who is one of the members of the group and is a friend of the pod, he's got one of the Abasi signatures that like Tosin played.
Nice.
And it's really cool. But like, if you handed it to me, you know what I would do? I would play like Eastbound and Down on it.
Right.
Because that's what I know what to do with the guitar.
Right. Yeah. No, I'd immediately pull out Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a bit of a ranty episode, but like, I just don't like seeing people that I respect and musicians that I look up to being crappy to other musicians.
Yeah.
There's just no point. There's no benefit. There's no upside to being crappy to other people. All of us are just doing the best that we can. And we all have our own individual strengths, but like, it's not your job to, be crappy.
Yeah. And you don't have to police other people's stuff. Just, you can let them have their stuff.
Yeah. They're happy. They like what they do.
Yeah.
Who cares if you do?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
No. They probably like food you don't like too. Just calm down. Like
another good example of that, like I posted me playing the solo to Hit Me With Your Best Shot on TikTok, which, I shouldn't know what I was doing. And somebody was like a really crappy, it was like, guess that solo is like a crappy version of Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I was like a note for note. Like I did it. Like I learned it and I played it right. But because this is just one of those things about musicians is that we tend to be insecure. It's just sad reality.
Yep.
I'm insecure about things, and my insecurity presents itself in certain specific ways. But yeah, I mean, that just toxic culture of musicians crapping on other musicians is just, it sucks.
It's bad.
I don't like it.
It's bad. It's bad.
And it's even worse. The internet's one thing, but like, I know musicians who do it like in real life.
Sure.
They're just crappy to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really unnecessary. And I've been in bands with those people, and I've had working relationships with musicians like that. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
And the money's not worth it. Like I've definitely been in, like there was one band that I was working with pretty actively, and they stopped calling, and that was fine by me, because the fact of the matter was, if they had kept asking me, I would have eventually just said no.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't worth the emotional just drama that was, getting super passive aggressive phone calls for things that like weren't of any importance. Just because somebody felt like they were disrespected or didn't get the final word, or, just, it's sad and it's pathetic, and we could do so much better as a community.
Yeah. And it contrasted with when you find the right group, when you find the right bunch, and it's like politics free and drama free, and everybody's just on everybody's side, Well,
and like just the vibe, like just having those moments on stage where like things just work, and it's just like that electricity that you feel.
Yeah.
And when it's not there and you're having to manufacture it because the personal dynamics suck, is just, it's terrible. It's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather not play shows than do that.
I mean, I think we can arrange that these days.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we can afford to be picky in these particular deals.
Yeah.
So I mean, like this thing coming up this weekend, like we're trying to figure out song lists and stuff, but everybody seems really cool and down to do whatever
Good.
and flexible, and so I'm looking forward to the one getting on stage before members only gets a chance to do it, but and also doing it in a market where like the stakes are lower because I don't know anybody,
Right.
and it's a private event, but like just to kind of get my feet under me. But I'm also looking forward to the potential of like things being fun
Yeah.
and exciting.
Yeah.
It's a 4-piece band and no tracks, and just like we're just gonna go out there and do it.
Grip it and rip it, right?
So,
it's awesome.
yeah, I guess ran over. Stop being crappy.
Stop being crappy.
Cool, like be excited for cool things happening for other people.
Yeah.
It's really great. It really sets you free.
Yeah.
Abundance mindset is something that we talk about a lot, but like seriously, y'all, just like be happy for other people.
Yeah. Even if it's not your thing.
Yeah. Especially if it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Be like, nope, it's not for me, but good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not even any chance I'd want to compete with it.
Yep.
God bless. Go get them.
Hope you
thrive, right?
Next time that you bump up against something, just say those two things. Good for them.
Yep.
Not for me.
Yeah.
And just move on.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Or just say nothing.
Yeah. My 7-year-old has learned the phrase, "Don't yuck my yum." Which is pretty good.
I like it.
It's pretty good. And she reminds me, like she's putting something on a sandwich the other day. I don't remember what. And it was like, really? Daddy, don't yuck my yum. All right, kid. Fair. I won't.
That's it.
It was bread and butter and Cool Ranch Doritos.
I can see where that works.
I can't, but I'm not going to yuck her yum. So there you go.
I mean, bread's good. Butter's good.
Yeah. Salt, little
Cool
salt.
Ranch Doritos are good.
And then Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah, and there's like saltiness and fattiness.
I mean, I can totally get the soft and crunch at the same time. I'm all about that. It's I'm not a big fan of Cool Ranch Doritos generally, so adding them to stuff is probably not.
No,
but it's not for me. It's just fine for you.
Yep. Good for you.
Good for you.
Not for me.
Not for me. Yeah.
No big deal.
So when somebody says, I have a Crunchwrap Dorito or a Cool Ranch Dorito signature zither.
Hey, man. It's not for me, but good for you.
God bless. Yep.
For sure. That being said, if you can get a signature Cool Ranch Dorito, like, get me in touch. Because I could.
Who's signing them?
Who knows? I'll tell you the craziest signature thing I've seen as of recent is Travis Scott, who is a rapper, has a signature meal at McDonald's right now. And you know who's buying it?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
My 10-year-old son was super stoked to go and get the Travis Scott meal, which is literally a quarter pounder with cheese meal with bacon and a barbecue sauce for your fries. That's literally it.
Oh, that sounds great, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his bag, so I mean, everybody's getting fed and he's making money, and
Ronald's making out, and I mean, where's the bad, right?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. I think that's where we're at.
I think so.
So next week there'll be some post-gig discussions, and then there'll be another gig to prep for.
Yep.
And so
I think we have a distraction cast with Shelty on the radar coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah. So I think we can. Can we squeeze one in before October? I don't know if we can.
Well, October 1st is next Thursday. So.
Okay. Maybe that's what we'll do. Dan and I have been talking about planning something. Well, actually, let's talk about it since we can kind of mull it over and see if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
Dan and I are considering doing Sober October just as a way to dry out. I don't know if you've been watching or listening to the pod for the past few months. We've been having some bevies, as I call them, with our episodes. So we're going to see if maybe taking a month off from alcohol makes us feel any better. Maybe it won't, but
I'm open to the idea that it might.
I did it last year. I've done it. I've typically taken a month off periodically throughout the year, and now just seems as good a time as any.
Sure.
So if that's something that you're interested in, and we can make it a whole thing, or you can just what you can do. You can go on the group and you can talk about how bad of an idea it is.
Yeah, and tempt us with beverages.
You could yuck our yum.
Hey.
That's what you could do.
Bring it.
But if it's something you're interested in, hit us up. We've been wanting to talk about it, so maybe we'll do it.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do the distraction cast next week.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I lost my feed, so I don't know about the comments going in. Thanks to Brent and a couple of the other guys for dropping some lines in for commentary and just joining us on this little ride of, airing of grievances.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you for checking us out. The best way that you can support us as a podcast is to take this episode when you listen to it and share it to your social media pages, your Instagram story, on whatever, tag your friends. This is how this word gets around for us, because Apple and Spotify is not doing it. So, all we can do is share it amongst our networks and leave a review if you haven't done so already. All of that stuff really helps us. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in for, all of these weeks and so on and so forth. So from Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
From Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You've been listening to the Cover Band Confidential Podcast, episode 121. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. If you want to help us, be sure to share us with your friends, follow us on social media, and if you haven't already, please leave a review for us on the podcast platform of your choice. Facebook.com/CoverbandConfidential, Instagram @CoverbandConfidential, and Twitter @CoverbandConfid. If you have any questions, please email us at coverbandconfidential@gmail.com, and consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/CoverbandConfidential. And for more info, check out www.coverbandconfidential.com.